So, friends of Nadine, thank you for coming. Welcome. The first thing Mark Green asked me is this a fundraiser?
Jump when you're here.
Mark Green.
So you all know me well enough to know that I've hosted thousands of fundraisers, but this is a friend raiser. We are friends, all from different times in my life. Some of you I've known forever. Two of you I never met in person. We were only social media friends. And this is the first time we're meeting in real life. So it's the full spectrum. And I just thought we'd go around and everybody say your name and whatever few words you'd like about yourself, and then we can go back to total informal eating, talking, catching up. So most of you know I've been living in Switzerland now for 12 years. Jerry and I love it there.
You know Tina Turner?
How I wish. You have no idea how much she's my idol.
Really?
Like when I did the Expo 2000 for the United Nations in Hanover, Germany, and I saw a big billboard that she was performing. I mean, I've seen her perform a trillion zillion times. That she was performing in Hanover on the same time that the Secretary General Kofi Annan was coming to open up our pavilion. I took a picture of the billboard. And you know me, I'm nothing if not persistent. I tracked down to like her manager who was managing that particular tour. Could you please get her to, come when the Secretary General opens it? And I was so close, but it didn't happen. So the biggest gift any of you could ever give me is like to have me in a room with Tina Turner. But each of you are Tina Turners in your own way. Like everybody in this room rocks the world. So I'm gonna let Paul. You can start with Kojo, who's right next to you, and then we'll go clockwise, and everyone can say hi.
Hi everyone. Name's Kojo Dufu. I know Nadine through my wife Tiffany Dufu, who used to run a women's national organization called the White House Project, founded by Mary Wilson. And so I am here as an ambassador and emissary. Even though I also know Nadine myself, I'm trying to display the other half that did not make it, unfortunately, and loving it. So I was telling folks, go way back to, 2006 or whatever it is. And then a gentleman talks to me. He's like, yeah, I've known Nadine since the 80s, early 80s, and went into it. So I'm loving the richness of the different relationships here, and how we've all picked up on different things along the way, and looking forward to sharing here. So thank you.
Hi, Nadine. I just wanted to ask, maybe if it's possible when it comes around to you, it would be great, instead of you having to fill each of us in individually, maybe you could say a little bit more about, give us like an update. It'd be great to hear.
Absolutely.
I'm Gerard, and I work in education. I co-founded with my wife the Question Project, and I really care for education to formally address students' humanity. So it's not just core subjects, but there's also a subject field in the long term that makes room for who students are, what life is about, and how to figure it all out, and what it means to be a citizen. So that's what I'm working on.
Okay, hi, Kim Brizzolora, and I met Nadine when I volunteered for the Dukakis campaign so long ago, and kind of saw you in and out when you were at the UN. And I remember this group of Egyptians one night. There were just all these memories that flood in. And I'm always so excited when I get an email from you that you're in town and having a gathering. So, yeah, thanks.
Hi, my name is James Ferrari. I am a social entrepreneur. I invest in environmental tech companies. I make films. I'm an artist, native New Yorker. I've known Nadine my whole life. Jerry and Nadine were very tight with my father, who was kind of like a conduit to all sorts of parts of Africa, right, in America, and inspiring to be here. You know, great to connect with people. Take care.
I'm Joseph Becerra. I'm a recovering investment banker. And the reason why Mark asked about a fundraiser was because that's where Nadine back in the Dukakis campaign had fundraisers in which I had to write checks for ever and ever. And continue to write checks. We will continue. We all want to, can we just put a check in the, I know it's not a fundraiser, but voluntary contributions are welcome, I'm sure. I am sure. So, but it's good to reconnect because Nadine has been so distant in Switzerland, and to see her in person again is a pleasure.
She looks the same.
Yeah.
I'm Danny Fran. I can't remember how I met Nadine, but it was some cause or some campaign, and I learned tremendous lessons from her. She is the best networker, organizer, and it's a perfect combination because she does it for the right things. And I've taken your lessons for a long time in all the causes and campaigns that I've worked in. And I am so happy to see you in person. And onward and upward. I'm a very depressed New Yorker. I'm a very depressed American. I have never found anything as horrible as this time, and I don't really know how to deal with it. So I'm very happy to be around allies and comrades, but I don't believe we're going to change.
Don't say comrades.
Thank you for inviting me.
I used to be Mark Green. And to save time, I'm going to describe two of us in this room. We were Democratic nominees against a Republican for mayor, and the Republican won. Raise your hand if that describes you. Other than Ruth Messenger and me, by the way, only 3 Republicans have won the mayoralty in this Democratic city. No one here is with John Lindsay. Is that correct?
No.
Anyone know who he was?
I work for him.
Okay. All I know is Denny said, this is my wife, you can see the resemblance. All I know is that Nadine, things were great when Nadine was here. She laughed, and it went to hell. So is there a better measure of her virtuecrat status, her positive status, than that? And so Denny, when she said she's depressed, she meant publicly depressed. Okay? Very happy woman, great.
Very happy married.
Publicly, there's a problem. And if any of you like the following woman, speak to me when we're done, because I will not raise money here. Raise your, oh, this is good, and I'm done. Raise your hands if you know who Katie Porter is. She's coming to our home Sunday night. She's about the best congressperson I've ever met. It's astonishing, actually. And we're trying to help her in what will be a competitive race.
I'm sorry.
What did you say?
Don't be sorry.
What'd she say?
Oh
yeah.
Under 60.
Okay.
I forgot.
By that former Derek Bell student.
I'm actually that's what I meant. But I'm so old I forgot to add that. Okay.
Okay. You know, my name is Catherine Chadwick, and Nadine, I'm so pleased to meet you face to face because we have been social media buddies for a while now. And thanks to Dr. Janet Dewar-Bell, my dear friend, and social media and the Global Citizen Circle, and Yeah, I'm just thrilled to be meeting you and meeting all these lovely people here. And I have to say, I'm delighted to be talking about my favorite project, the Sunshine Quotient, which is a term that refers to lighting gradients in photography and radiology. But as you look around the room, everybody has a different level of radiance, right? And so it can be adjusted. It's just like, I just love teaching people about it. It's a mindfulness and breathing technique that I use within my practice, my nursing practice. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm delighted to be here with all of you. And I want everybody to be proud.
So I'm Gloria Felch. I am, so Mark, we'll come to your Katie Porter event if you come to our Mark Kelly event. I think we're probably all raising money for all kinds of worthy causes and candidates. I'm going to work backwards. I'll start with, I met Nadine when I was president of Planned Parenthood Federation of America, and we were often in the same rooms doing the same things and trying to raise money for the same worthy causes, and have just kept in touch ever since, and have always admired all the work that you've done, Nadine, so much. You know, running nonprofits is not easy, and you've helped so much and helped so many, so I just want to say that I appreciate that. I currently, after I left Planned Parenthood, I was going to have a quiet life. I was going to just write books and, like, you know, make a little speech every once in a while, and it was going to be like that. And instead, the next to the last book I wrote took me into a study of why women hadn't reached parity in any level, any sector, even though we had changed laws and we'd opened doors and reversed almost everything. And long story short, that research led me to write a book or two, and then ultimately to start a nonprofit organization called Take the Lead, with the mission of gender parity in leadership by 2025. And I should have brought Janet. I will bring you two books. I will walk them over here, and Tiffany Dufu is in one of them as one of my intentional women. She is like an intentional woman. She's one of my heroes. So it's so nice to meet you, Kojo. Yes, right. So that's it. That's what I do. And we live here in New York and in Arizona. So people are always saying, "Where are you? Where are you?" Well, here we are. Here we are. We're just lucky enough to be here tonight.
I know where I am. I'm with Gloria Felch. For 41 years, I finally did the right thing. I had experience prior to that. At any rate, I'm Alex Barbonell, and I moved to Arizona from Long Island, Brookhaven, in 1970. And that's how I met Gloria.
And I brought him back, kicking and screaming.
And she brought me back to New York. I was raised in Brooklyn, actually. And right now, and for 24 years, I am a tour guide at the Museum of Natural History.
Oh,
yes. As well as a fossil explainer. So if anybody is interested in listening to me, let me know, and I'll happily give you a tour, what have you. But at any rate, it's good to be back to New York, because in Arizona, you would never have a mix like we have here, which is absolutely wonderful, really. So I'm very happy that Gloria invited me.
And I'm happy to.
Yes, thank you. So that's it.
I'm Ruth Messenger. Thank you, Janet, for putting us together. Thank you, Nadine. I am, as Mark said, a recovering elected official. I spent 20 years doing international human rights, running the American Jewish World Service, for whom I still work. But I mostly do domestic social justice work in a variety of places, training faith leaders in moral courage and teaching people how to make social change. And I love what I do. I think of Nadine all the time, because the longer I live, which is much too long, the more people write me and they say, "Could you do this and this?" And I say, "No, but here's the person you should." And that's what Nadine did successfully for 20 or 30 years. So I think about it all the time. Since there have been shout outs for Katie Porter and Mark Kelly let me just say that I am unfortunately an expert in the lunacy of the Manhattan redistricting plan. And I would be happy to talk to anybody, and I'm extremely, extremely partisan. So if you're not for Jerry Nadler, you probably shouldn't come bother to talk to me. And Daisy's going to introduce herself, but Daisy and I, a month ago, spent a week together in Kabul.
Wow. And we had face-to-face meetings with the Taliban, eyeball to eyeball.
That's pretty courageous.
Yeah. We were telling them what to do.
Wow.
Yay! So Nadine, you would have been proud.
I'm very proud of you.
Oh my
goodness. Both everybody in this room, I'm so proud of.
I'm Daisy Khan, and I know Nadine for around the time that you left, 5 years before that. I have no recollection where we met, but all I remember is the card that was given to me, and it said BeCause. And it had such a great name, and I thought anybody who calls themselves BeCause must ask the right questions, right? So Nadine and I worked together. I was running a nonprofit at that time. She helped with strategy, with developing mission, vision, and I loved her energy and her ability to connect so many people. She introduced me to such brilliant people, including philanthropists who were able to help me with the work that I was undertaking. So since then we've stayed in touch, and I remember that during the Ground Zero mosque controversy, Nadine reached out from, which I was very central in that. And we've heard about that story. We were trying to build a community center in Lower Manhattan, and we were attacked for building a mosque next to Ground Zero. And Nadine reached out to me and said, "How are you doing? What's going on?" And this is a friendship that's very deep, and there's nothing superficial about these friendships. That's why we've come here tonight, because we value these kinds of friendships. They're deep, they're long-lasting, and she may be miles away, but we're connected our hearts with our hearts. So I want to thank you very much for the work you've done for everybody, and for bringing us together. Really, this is so much fun. I mean, this man here, Paul. I mean, I did an event after 9/11. Nobody wanted to cover it in the press. It was an artistic response to 9/11, a Muslim response. He was the only one there.
Wow.
So talking about good news, yeah, he was the one who was willing to cover it.
Hi, Paul. Following that, I think Paul interviewed me for one of my shows a long time ago. I'm an artist. My name is Andrea Arroyo, and I do work that has to do with social justice issues, especially women's issues. And I met Nadine 35 years ago. Soon after I moved here from Mexico, she came into my tiny little studio in the East Village.
Or walk up on Avenue A.
Exactly. Yes. And we met then, and then we've been in touch for a long time. She bought a little piece that she, I think, took to Switzerland.
I did. It's one of the few pieces I brought.
And we've been in touch, and I love her, so I love you. Thank you for the work. And also, we have so many connections in common.
Yes.
I'm Carol Jenkins. I have Andrea Arroyo hanging on my wall happily, and have known Nadine Nadine and Jerry, who are the lights of my life. I tell you, two of the brightest world travelers, influencers, really, truly good people. I mean, they're not that many. I assume everybody in this room falls
Carol, bring us in, Carol.
falls into
You might have to bring the book.
all good people. And Nadine and I laugh about the Mother's Day that we each independently took our mothers to a Chinese restaurant in Westchester, a hugely unlikely place to be, and there we were. And we're like, Nadine, Carol, what are you doing here?
Or ducks in mysterious ways.
So that was great. We've had so many, and I love following everything that that you're doing. And I have been engaged recently in the Equal Rights Amendment, and am now
She's president of the DRA Coalition. I have to correct these people.
I am happily in the process of transferring that organization over to a wonderful young woman, which I say, welcome, child CEO. You are welcome here. And am also having a great deal of fun with Gloria Feltz on a podcast that we've started called Lady Liberty is Very Pissed. And you should meet too. My grandchildren love repeating the title of that. And now we have Betty. Is the third Betty here?
Two-thirds of Betty. 2 out of 3.
I know 2 out of 3 is really good. We'll do the musical, intro and outro for Lady Liberty is Pissed. So we hope you will join it. We're talking about the nexus of voting rights, equal rights, and reproductive rights that have all gone to hell. And we have until November to fix all of that. So that's what the podcast is about. And we'll be interviewing you all. I'm sure. So, Nadine, I'm so happy to see you. Hazel Duke sitting here in the corner. Your turn to. She's staring adoringly at Nadine.
The story of Nadine and Jeff is just unreal. It's been some like 40-some years with her mother and our friendship. And I'm emotional because 2 people who would have been in this room to tell you of the love and the work that they have done to bring people together over our 44 years would be the late David and Joyce Dickens. The time that we spent with Nadine's mom and Jeff is immeasurable. I can't just tell you when I received the note from Eugene. Nothing would have stopped me. Today I'm late, yes. I have another
You're always on time, Dr. Duke.
But for this child of mine, Jerry, I just turned 90 years of age.
Whoa.
Wow.
I got your teeth.
So these are my children. As David would say, our children. How he loved to take the pictures out of the pocket while we was walking, trying to get him elected.
You'd have to be a baby to be 87-year-old Jerry's mom. Just a little younger, but
And the same,
but you are
Ruth Messenger to continue. Ruth and I've been on this bound for, I said 50 years. To be here today with all of you, some I know, some I don't. This is one.
Did you say you're 90 years old?
Yes, I am.
I'm
Yeah.
92.
Oh. You said that, so you're
My
welcome.
ego is getting the best of me. Never thought I'd live this
As
long.
well, I agree, but it's wonderful and to see the friendship of years mean more than anything in the world to me, and for you and absolutely. You two are, and I thank so much of your mom the time we spent together talking about the life and what she was so proud that you took the mantle to do. Sweetheart, you don't know how many lives you touched. We will never call your name because they don't know your name. But the legacy and the life that you live and still living is one of measure that money can't buy. For the friendship and for what you all have given so many of us in the nonprofit sector, and just being decent, loving, kind, compassionate people. We need more of you. God bless you.
I'm going to add on to you, Dr. Dukes, because I'm Allie Palmer. I'm in a band called Betty with Elizabeth. And we've been together for 36 years, and we've played on every continent except for the 2 coldest ones. And on every single continent, every single one, we've met a friend of Nadine's. And these not just people like, oh, I mean, people who are from bus drivers to the sons of presidents
you know, in Africa. I mean, just everybody knows Nadine. And like you were saying, you don't know how many lives you've touched. You have been the rainbow in people's clouds all over the world. And it's thrilling. We're a social justice band, we're artist activists, and we've been doing it for a very, very long time. And every time our lives intersect with people like you all in this room, we are energized to go and put that message out to even more people of all ages. And it's just, to be in the room with all of you all is wonderful. Those of you who I voted for, and it's just, it's an honor. Thank you so much for having us here. And thank you, Nadine, for being who you are.
Well, first off, I'll say, those of you who have not signed this, please do so. And be generous. Take a whole page. Don't just sign your name. So I'm going to skip past Nadine and move that on to those who have not signed the book for Nadine. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. That you helped start and it's founded, that's still going on today. It was formerly called Audrey Cohen, now it's Metropolitan College, I think, among other things. And I remember going to your 50th birthday party with Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton, and that was an amazing thing. Yes, because Hillary Clinton saw my dear husband, who is such a wonderful gentleman. She walks across the room, she sees this wonderful, stately black gentleman, and she comes up to him, and I'm going, this is not a good idea. Aww. And so Derek Bell did what Derek Bell does. He said, and why won't you accept the two-state solution? And she goes, oops, wrong black gentleman. And she quickly moved away. I just want to say thank you all for being here, and my love for Nadine and Jerry just is without any limits, and it's just such an honor to know you and to know your social justice activities, civil rights, anti-apartheid. I mean, all this stuff, you have done it all, so God bless you. Absolutely.
I'm Elizabeth, and Allison's already spoken about our band. And I don't remember when I met you. I think it was you're reminding me, Barbara Dopkin was hosting an event. I think Gloria was there. I don't really remember.
Yeah, at her house. It was before the Gloria Awards.
It was way before the Gloria Awards. Yeah. And I don't know what year that was. I don't know what decade that was in, but like beyond time, forever. It feels.
And the last time I saw you, we were all eating fondue in Switzerland, which is a very good memory. Anyway, I love you, and I'm glad. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. And it's an honor to be with everyone here.
Well, my name is Wallace Ford. I was just finished reading this book by James McBride called Kill 'Em and Leave, which is a story about James Brown. And why am I talking about James Brown at the moment? But there's this part of the book where it mentions that James Brown opened for the Rolling Stones at Altamont, and of course James Brown just killed him. Right? It was just really, and the Rolling Stones' Mick Jagger said it was the worst decision that they ever made.
One of them.
And so here I am, trying to follow all of this at this point, and I kind of feel like the Rolling Stones.
There's worse ways to put it.
Could be worse, let me just say, that there is, friendships exist in so many different forms and fashion. And hi, Mark Green. I should remember you. There's people that are in our lives, and I literally can't remember exactly when Nadine and I met. We met in the course of the Dinkins administration when we were both commissioners and doing stuff that involved international activity. But obviously, that ended in 1993, and here we are today, some 20-something years later. A friendship or respect and all those good things have come to pass. I know that in the league, after being in the Dinkins administration, that international bug really hit me, and did a lot of work as a lawyer in Africa, and did 40 trips to South Africa and so on, and did all this kind of representing Johannesburg here in the United States. And going into my 50th year, and I'm going to catch up with you. I don't want to catch you, actually, Hazel.
I'm going to catch you anyway.
I want you to keep going. But when I get, sometime in my 50th year, I happened to go see our friend and mentor and colleague and all those good things, David Dinkins at Columbia, and passed a colleague at the School of International Public Affairs, said, "Hey, Wally, do you think about teaching?" And by that time, I had worked in government as an investment banker, and obviously, as a lawyer and a number of other activities. And I said, sure. And the first time I stepped in front of a class at the School of International Public Affairs, I said, this, after all these other things bouncing around, this is what I want to do. And so I'm pleased to say I'm now a tenured professor in the City University of New York. I teach at Medgar Evers College. And I will keep, and the thing about higher education, Carol, and you know about this as well, is they don't have a retirement age. Now, that's a good thing and a bad thing sometimes. I figure as long as I can at least be teaching the correct subject, in the right classroom, we're doing okay. And so it's a real pleasure to be a part of all of this. As I said, just the last thing I would just say in closing is I was just checking that there was a poem that I learned when I was learning Spanish in school, and it was called La Vida es Sueño, and life is a dream. And in many ways it is, and it's an ongoing dream that we share, we intersect with friends and family, all kinds of people from time to time. And if we're fortunate enough, and clearly each and every one of us right now is extremely fortunate to not only Nadine, but to come through yet another set of intersections of people and personalities and lives that would not have happened without you, Nadine. So thank you very much for this. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Saida Garrett, and Nadine, this is the first time we're meeting in person. We met 3-4 months ago on social media, and Nadine sent me a message saying, let's talk on Zoom. She wanted to know a little bit more about what my nonprofit does. So I'm founder and president of a nonprofit organization called Pastoralist Child Foundation. And I founded it after coming, actually I was in Kenya on a safari. I was in the Saimara and Samburu, Kenya on a safari in February of 2012. I was watching a documentary about elephants, and I already fostered an elephant through the David Sheldrick Wildlife Trust in Nairobi. And after watching the documentary, I told my husband and daughter, I want to go to Kenya. I want to see my elephant that I fostered, and I want to see my favorite animals in their natural habitat. And my husband said, oh, Saida, you can see elephants on YouTube. So, my husband is a very cool jazz musician, but he doesn't swear. I swear. So in my head I said, fuck you. So I I went on
We
a
need a
solo
7-second delay.
It's okay.
Fuck is okay on my broadcast.
Swear like a sailor.
It's in a dictionary.
Okay. And so do you, by the way. Yeah. So when I went to Kenya on the safari, the assistant restaurant captain, Samuel, when I came back from visiting his village, we had a long conversation about the culture, traditions of his tribe, the Samburu tribe. And at one point, he got very serious. He looked up, and I'll never forget what he said. Saida, I want to start a community-based organization to eradicate female genital mutilation and forced early marriage before it's my youngest sister's turn to get cut. And so I said, tell me more. Like, what are you talking about? Cut? What are you talking about? So he told me, you know, that girls, when they reach puberty, undergo FGM, they're cut by an old lady with a razor blade, etc., etc. It's a horror. And he said, we have to stop doing this in my community. And I want girls to go to school. I want girls to become teachers and lawyers and doctors and engineers, just like other girls around the world. But this is not happening in my community. So we've got to get rid of these two vices. So I said, I'll help you. Because my personal mission statement is, tell me what you want and I'll help you get it. That's what jazzes me. Tell me what you want and I will help you get it. That's what I'm about. And I had experience from working at a homeless shelter in Plainfield, New Jersey for 10 years. So when you work at a nonprofit, you wear so many hats. So I knew how to fundraise, I knew how to raise awareness, I knew how to basically run a nonprofit. So I started the 501c3 registered. We're registered in Kenya, and we are kicking butt.
Yeah.
We have lowered the rate of FGM by 30% in Samburu. And even the president of Kenya has recognized Samuel as a Masuju, which is like a hero in the country. So we work with UNICEF Kenya, we work with other like-minded organizations to end this horrible practice. Apart from that, I'm also president-elect of our town's Kiwanis Club, and I also work with on the board with the Glenridge Women's Club in Glenridge, New Jersey. And I'm a mother, a grandmother, and I love life. I love food. I always say whoever feeds me is going to be my friend for life. So thank you for your hospitality and friendship. And this is just so thrilling for me to meet this incredible group of men. Men and women. And I actually brought, because I love to give things, so I brought a bracelet. I think I have enough for every woman in the room. So just please start with Nadine, and some of you have already. Well, if there's one left for them, I don't know how many women would be here, but please choose if they're bracelets made by the Maasai women.
Paul, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure.
Before I do the
Yes. Want me to hold it?
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
No, it's okay. I'm hardly ever in the show.
Okay, great.
All right, and
Good news, Paul. Good news, Paul.
Yeah, good. Yeah, no, Reverend Paul Slatkus. I'm an all-faith spiritual minister, but I've had a nice, long career, 50 years, man, anniversary this year. CBS I started at, and we did a Tina Turner show with Carol Burnett, and everybody came down to Television City way back in '72 when I started in communications business. And in any case, I don't know how I met you, but I kind of am, well, I'm definitely happy I did. Maybe I came and interviewed you. I remember going to this cool building next to the United Nations and wondering what's going on in here. And I learned of many nonprofits or United Nations, NGOs, so on and so forth. But I know, and somehow we've stayed friends for a long time. And that's a big honor for me. And you, as well as so many people in this room, are such do-gooders and positive people on Mother Earth. And it's just nice because, there's a lot of things people can do in this world. And everybody in this room is doing something that's to help society do better. And for me to have that on our Good News broadcast, or Good News to Go, 6,000 shows now. And I've done most of those interviews. I'm an interviewaholic. And so, and we also have for 20 years, we've been supporting the International Day of Peace with a concert in Central Park. I had the great lawn this year. It would have been my third shot at trying I did Woodstock, the 20th anniversary. I had the great lawn, but I couldn't raise, I was doing Richie Havens, but I couldn't raise the money, and I had PBS. I did it in Times Square. And we continue to do the International Day of Peace concerts in Times Square and in Central Park. I interviewed Betty when they just started.
That's right.
So I've been very fortunate. So September 21st, we're going to make this one the largest ever that we've ever done, and we could use all your support for it. And we're going to have a celebrity concert in the evening at the Salvation Army, which has one of the nicest theaters, the Centennial Memorial Temple here in New York, Art Deco, when 14th Street was Broadway. Yeah, go watch Funny Girl or Fanny Bryce, and you see what 14th Street used to look like in the old days. That was Broadway. In any case, so that's kind of what we're up to, and it's a big honor to be here. Mark doesn't know I even helped him sell real estate, and because I have also had Chinese put me in business in '85, 14 years, CBS and Channel 13. The Nature, Brain Series, things like that. And then I started Multicultural Advertising and Marketing Company in '85, and the Chinese put me in business. I helped break the Asian market here in America. People tell me I should talk about myself, but I haven't really done that much of that over the years. Somehow, they keep telling me to say something. In any case, I helped with some real estate at Lincoln Center. All right, so...
Can I turn this way, because larger enough, can you...
In any case.
So Gerard asked me to just say a little bit more. So I think probably the most significant thing I can choose to share is that I was really blessed that when I became active in political campaigns, it was 1964. I was a volunteer for Shirley Chisholm's first state assembly race. And that same year, I was a volunteer for Bella Abzug, who founded Women's Strike for Peace that year.
Right.
And so, learning from two mentors, of whom I can't think there are any better, early on in my life, that the issues of racism, sexism, classism, militarism, and what we now call environmental justice, we just called it environmentalism then, are inextricably interconnected. And that you have to work together with other people, because the more we support each other in coalition, the stronger we are together, and the more likely we are to advance. And I just want to counter what you said, Denny, that you didn't feel like we were going to get through it. From then, working since 1964 and never stopping, so that's a good lifetime of work. I have made, at each step of the way, a conscious decision that I'm going to be a force of light. Catherine, you talked about the light energy, and a voice of light wherever I am, and B, I'm going to raise up the voices of light wherever they are, whatever they're doing, because that's the only way I can get up in the morning. And faith is believing despite the evidence, and then I add to that, and then working to change the evidence. And Nelson Mandela said, it's only impossible until someone
makes it possible.
Right.
And so it's such an honor to be among people who are really doing everything they can, and I know you all so well that you do it from every fiber of your being to make the impossible possible. And in the long relay race toward a more just, compassionate, peaceful, safe, secure, sustainable world, that we are carrying the torch at this time in the relay race. And it's an honor and blessing to be with all of you. You're welcome. We're going to go back to informal. If you can talk to anyone, there's lots of
Sort of kind of informal, but I have to say a few things.
Okay.
These good people have been trying to keep the food not overcooked or what have you. So once we...
Hey guys, thank you.
So
I sit myself
I'll
like
get
in a
John.
throne chair.
There's lots
and
of
people
food.
can come in rotation. I'm going to sit myself in a throne chair.
Okay.
Yes,
There
we're
you
going to
go.
do that. But let me end this, because I'm going to take the prerogative of the chair.
Yes.
And I'm not going to sing Lift Every Voice and sing, but join with me in this. Oh Lord, I done, I said, oh Lord, I done, I said, oh Lord, I done, I said, I done what you told me to do. Well, you told me to sing, and I done, I said you told me to sing. I done, I said you told me to sing, and I done, I said, oh Lord, I done, oh Lord, I done, I said, oh Lord, I done, I said, oh Lord, I said, I done what you told me to do.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff.